Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to the second meeting of the International Neuro Society. I'm really happy to see you all, and today we'll talk about neurons, synapses, and the brain's communication system. Um, I hope you are all hearing me well. Can you respond, please? Can you hear me?
Yes,
And you can see screen, right?
yes, we can.
Okay. So today we'll dive into the one of the most important parts of the brain's communication, which are neurons and synapses, as I told you. And by the end of sessions, you will know you will know and understand how the brain cells send messages and how tiny chemical messengers shape how we think, move, and communicate, basically. So let's move on. And okay, I'm sorry. So, today's agenda, as you can see, we have some interesting topics to cover. And is there any volunteer who would love to read what we're gonna cover today? Someone who will just read what we will do today.
I can read it.
Okay, go ahead.
Today's agenda. So first is what is a neuron? How do neurons send signals? What is a synapse? Neurotransmitters, the brain's chemical messengers, and the last one, Cohort.
Thank you so much. And before we actually start the official meeting, I would say let me answer you one question. Can you name anything your brain controls? Like in your opinion, what do you think your brain controls?
Our emotions.
That's right, exactly. What else?
Mm, Decision making.
Exactly, yes. Any other
I
ideas?
think,
Yes,
yeah,
sorry.
movement and reflexes.
Yes, sure thing. You're absolutely right.
Memory, coordination, and balance.
Yes, exactly. So,
Emotional expression.
sorry, I didn't hear you.
Emotional expression.
Yes, exactly. So, as you may see, brain controls awesome and really important parts of our daily life, basically, and our whole life, to be honest, because it coordinates and controls our emotions, hormones, emotions, sorry, movement, muscles, and everything. Okay, I will be back in like 1 minute, please. Sorry. You can still see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk. Let's cover the second part of the slide, which is fun fact. And your brain has about 86 billion neurons, and that's more than the number of the stars in the galaxy. Can you imagine? It's really awesome and compelling, to be honest. Okay, so let's discuss about what is the neuron. And as you know, the neuron has like numerous parts, so we'll cover them up today and together. So, a neuron is a specialized cell in your brain and nervous system that carries messages. So, basically, it's kind of messenger. You can imagine it in that way. And this messenger control everything, like from blinking your eye to solving math problem and everything. So, basically, they cover and carry information all across your body. So, let's dive into the neuron parts. And neuron parts. If we start, the first thing we have is dendrite, and it receives messages from other neurons. Then we have cell body, which called the soma, and it processes the messages. And to be honest, it's really awesome because it reminds me of if we are part of programming, for instance, we can understand that it's similar to how browser displays and like when we request some a particular thing like moving to another link, it processes and then displays, and this exact seems to be really common in neuroscience as well, and it's really exciting. So next thing we have is axon, which is kind of something like this. It looks like fried egg or something. So axon carries the message away from cell, and then we have also axon terminals, as I mentioned, the egg ones, and they send the messages to the next cell, and that's how we can connect our information to one to the last axon, basically. And then we have a myelin sheath, which is protective layer that helps the message travel faster and safer, so no information will be lost. Okay, we can move on. And how do neurons send signals? And messages travel through neurons using electrical signals. And one exciting part of this process is that they never kind of connect to each other, even though there's like biggest power between them, the biggest energy. And when a neuron gets activated, it sends a tiny spark, as we already see. Please look at it. And like it's similar to electric impulse, and from one end to the other. And this process is called an action potential. And what the sparks we see is action potential, basically. And then, yeah, as I've mentioned, they never actually touch each other, and that's one of the exciting part of this process. And there's always a small gap between them. And actually, the power and all the stuff is called synapse, and we will cover it now. It's really exciting, honestly. And tiny space between two neurons, there are synapses. And the first neuron sends out chemicals called neurotransmitters, which float across the synapse and attach to the next neuron. So basically, it's really exciting thing. And if we can it's really hard to for instance explain what the synapse is in general, but to let me try to explain it in a simple way. So we have the electrical signal that travels through first neuron until it reaches the end one, which is called axon terminal. And when it gets there, it triggers the release of tiny chemicals called neurotransmitters, which we'll cover on the next slide. And these neurotransmitters float across the synapse and bind to the receptors to the next neuron. And then the second neuron continues the same process, the same message, and thanks to the myelin sheath, they are transmitted in a safe and protective way, so no information is lost and nothing is wrong with it. So, if we now let's talk about the neurotransmitters. And neurotransmitters are just tiny chemicals that have a big job, and each of them have a huge role upon our body, and they're really crucial. So, for instance, if we start with dopamine, its main role and crucial role is motivation and reward, and it's known as feel-good neurotransmitter, and it's involved in pleasure, motivation, and reward. And it spikes you when you accomplish something great and exciting, and kind of boost your mood up. Then we have serotonin. Okay, sorry. Then we have serotonin, which controls mood and sleep. And serotonin helps us to regulate sleep, appetite, and our mood in general. And if serotonin are low, we mostly feel sad or depressed, and we should definitely work on this because it may have a huge issues come up after some particular time. So yes, the third neurotransmitter is acetylcholine, which role is muscle movement and memory, and it's really essential for learning and memory, and also helps with coordination and muscles. So it's really important for movement, as you can understand. And this neurotransmitters helps us to shape everything from our emotions to our ability to remember facts, and basically just study in general. And medications, emotions, and even food can influence how they behave. So please take care of yourself, stay hydrated, eat well, and eat really nutritious food because it will really affect you. So before actually going to Kahoot, um, okay, sorry. So I'm interested if someone has any kind of question. If you're Because we kind of cover everything so fast, so you may not understand some particular thing. So I'm all ears now. This will Everything will be shared to our YouTube, and also you will have your homework as well. So does anyone have any question, or we should move to Kahoot? What do you think? Okay, can move to Kahoot, I guess. So okay, let me stop recording here.